Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new tactic review. This time it's a turn of Russell Martin, Southampton's manager. Led Southampton to a championship kind of playoff final victory against Leeds, got promoted to the Premier League. Seems to be kind of struggling a little bit this season, but he has his own brand of football. He kind of stands by it. He's kind of adamant that this is the way that Southampton want to play. I must admit, watching them a couple of times, and I don't normally say this about teams. I think teams make their own look and tend to be where they deserve to be, I think, in the league. But I watched Southampton a couple of times. I do like the style of play. I do think they're a little bit unfortunate at times. A lot of the times I think sometimes it's maybe a bit of their own doing. But I do like his style, Russell Martin's style. I like the football that Southampton do play. They've got quality kind of across the team. Certainly I think the midfield and up front and striking options as well. They can cause teams a lot of problems. Like you say, he sets up as a 4-2-3-1. That kind of changes kind of defending and attacking. It's kind of a little bit more fluid than just a rigid 4-2-3-1. But we'll discuss that as we go through the tactic. Like I say, I'm quite a bit of a fan of his. At the moment, I think at the time of recording this, I think his job's kind of questionably in the balance. I'd like to see him probably get a bit more time, personally. I think, like I say, his style of football does suit kind of the Premier League in a way. I know it's probably hard to kind of back that up at the moment, I think, but I think when you watch them, there is kind of something there. There's something about them. They have got that quality, maybe lacking in certain areas, maybe defence, individual errors as well. Maybe it's costing them at times. But I think overall, I think he has this philosophy. And I think he's recently come out with saying something like he's proud of the journey that the team, the players are on. But if you don't get the points to back it up, then it's all for nothing. And I think it's kind of probably sums them up kind of really well. Obviously, kind of the making of this tactic or replication of it. I watched them against Leicester and massively unfortunate. I mean, for a large part of the game, they were dominated, conceded a goal, and then from then just seemed to have a little bit of a kind of a collapse. We won't talk about VAR. I think I could probably do a video on that in itself, and probably involve me ranting on for about 30-40 minutes. Give away a penalty. Like you say, I got Leicester back into it, and then, like you say, eventually lost the game 3-2. How, in the position that we're in at 2-0 up, I don't know how you say it. And I think that's maybe part of the whole team kind of philosophy, the way they play. The concentrations lapse a little bit because for like the first half, certainly, they were in absolute complete control, executing the plan perfectly, playing that style of football that he likes to play. And like you say, I just seem to kind of go to pop up. We'll talk about the tactic. We'll talk about the kind of how it flows, how it works, his kind of philosophy, what he wants to see from his team. How I've managed to hopefully create that in Football Manager. Obviously, I do like to make a tactic work in Football Manager as well, which I think I've done here. You may not agree with everything I've put in, but please, if you don't, get in the comments, let me know what you think. A lot of you are getting involved. A lot of you give great comments as well. So, like I said, it's probably a good time as well to ask if you are enjoying this kind of series. Please drop a like, subscribe, does help the channel. We are growing bit by bit, slowly but surely. And like I say, you're getting down in the comments, you're asking me who you want to see next, and I'm enjoying these, so I want to continue them, but I have to know that the support's there. So please, if you don't mind, drop a quick like, get in the comments as well, and like I say, subscribe if you can, be fantastic. So I think we'll quickly talk about the tactic. Talk about kind of Russell Martin's style. I think what he wants from his team. So obviously my opinion of it as well in terms of play positions, how he likes to set up defensively, and obviously transition and attack. And then, like I say, I'll show you how it got on with this tactic in the league. And then we'll watch maybe some kind of 2D games and some kind of highlights as well to see how that looks in game, see if we can replicate it. I may have been slightly out on certain things, but yeah, we'll see how we get on. So, like we said there, Russell Martin, it's a 4-2-3-1. Now, I think his philosophy is very much in, I think this is kind of something that he's brought up from kind of day one, from taking over Southampton. I think they went on something like a 22-game kind of undefeated kind of run, I think, in the championship at the time, eventually getting to the playoffs, beating Leeds. And I think it's based around possession, first and foremost. I think he's a great believer in keeping hold of the ball, passing as well. Very kind of large amount of passing, but very direct, very, like I say, yeah, not so much direct, but short, kind of possession-based passing as well, you know, not kind of loose, not kind of pumping the ball forward, kind of aimlessly. So I think it's about being as well defensively solid. I think ideally you'd love to be in that terms as well, but very compact. Emphasis on the midfield as well. I think he likes to play a ball kind of through the middle. Like I say, passing that ball through. Like I say, we'll talk a bit more depth, but things I would like to see, definitely things I want to see is high volume of passing, accurate passing, probably what I was looking for. Obviously, possession as well, high possession, stats as well. And use of the wide men, creating attack opportunities, but not wasteful, I think is ultimately these cases kind of his mantra, if you like. Sometimes, like you say, it comes to be their undoing, you know, kind of stop you passing in the positions that they are trying to dominate. If they try and dominate midfield and they lose the ball in that midfield area, obviously the hope is that they can create like an aggressive press to win that back. If that doesn't work, then they sometimes find themselves in a bit of trouble. Mainly, arguably, and like I say, I'll stand corrected if anyone wants to get in the comments, but probably the defence is maybe the weakest area, I would say, of the Southampton team. And it does kind of create, like I say, a lot of chances of the opposition sometimes to get back into games. I think back to the Man United game, I think as well, that I watched when I think for me Southampton dominated for kind of so much of the game. Looked really good, really aggressive going forward, really kind of solid at the back, doing everything that probably the manager kind of expected of them. Got a penalty, subsequently missed that penalty, and then all of a sudden found themselves kind of on the back foot, as if kind of heads dropped, heads went a little bit, you know, and then all of a sudden Man United were back into it, and then I think the outcome was something like 3-1 with maybe the Southampton player getting sent off, if I remember right. That was a while back there now, but that's the kind of thing, you know, I think that probably frustrating when you watch your Southampton team. But we'll talk through the tactic. I'll start with kind of the team mentality and position, and then we'll talk about how that fits in with the player role. So I said before, it's 4-2-3-1, very possession based tactic, kind of high volume of passing but very accurate passing. So to achieve that, I think first off, it's how we deploy. So probably in the transition phase, you're probably looking at something like I say, I think a mid block, maybe against maybe the better teams, maybe like say your Arsenal's, Man United's at first, they probably drop that a bit lower to a kind of a lower block. Defensive line higher, again shorten that gap between the kind of the midfield, defence midfield, and your kind of your forwards, your wingers, creating those kind of passing options in midfield. So there's always someone there. And something that you do see quite a lot, or I noticed certainly against Leicester, is if the kind of Southampton player had the ball, you don't almost see like a kind of constant triangle of three, kind of around that ball as well, creating kind of openings. So if kind of a opposition was closing down on a defender, you know, you had like a kind of a player, closing the kind of the lane between a kind of defender and another passing option. The third one will kind of come up and take that position as well, just to create that a bit extra kind of option for that player with the ball. So that's what they're all about, creating kind of these triangles, these kind of passing opportunities, ball retention, all in the while dragging the opposition kind of into them, out of position as well, looking for those kind of passing opportunities to then break a press. So like I say, adopting this mid block, lower block, it's all about bringing teams into them with that kind of passing style. They break the press, then they use the kind of wings as the outlets, kind of the guys with a bit of pace, kind of wing backs as well, with kind of Walker Peters kind of on the flank there as well, just to kind of give that pace, just to kind of break away, create opportunities, and that's the general idea. But that's what it is: compact mid block, possibly low block as well at times. High defensive line though, really narrowing that space. Like I say, it creates more direct passing, creates more passing opportunities, and compacts that midfield, which I think Russell Martin likes to adopt and really kind of dominate. So on top of that, then I've got the kind of trigger press more often, mid block, lower block as well. You want to have that. You're quite happy for the opposition to have the ball in their own half, pass it around, not really kind of bothered. But as soon as they come into your half, that's when you want to trigger that press, win that ball back. Hopefully by then you've created a lot of gaps in between their kind of their midfield, their defence, their kind of front line. And that's the gaps that you want to exploit. I think that's the gaps that Russell Martin looks to exploit as well. Like you say, using that pace, using those wingers, using kind of wing backs, cutting in kind of various different roles. Like you say, attacking these kind of half spaces between the defence and the full backs. It's exactly kind of Russell Martin's style. So a couple of that, then I've got get stuck in. Like I said, that ball needs to be won back in that half. If you don't, and teams can kind of play around you, play through you, you find yourself in kind of big trouble, which Southampton probably have quite a bit this season, arguably. Also on that trap inside, that kind of goes, like I say, how he likes to dominate this midfield, drag everything in the middle, win that ball back in advantageous positions. And like I said, as soon as the ball's as soon as the ball is won in this position, again, like I said before, you've got your kind of wingers, you've got your centre midfielder on attackers options, your wing backs coming on, and you just kind of launch that kind of almost a counter attack forward with speed, aggression, like I say, pace, exploiting these kind of gaps in between that the opposition's hopefully left, which if you've done an aggressive press and you've won it back, you probably will. So that's kind of the defensive shape then. Kind of leading into the kind of transition, kind of going forward. So we'll drop back into the transition side of the thing. Like I say, this is a counter press. When the ball is in that kind of opposition area, their defensive area, if the ball's lost, that has to be won back straight away, or you find yourself in trouble. Like I say, once that ball's won, very simply counter. Southampton have the players to do it. Like I say, Kyle Walker-Peters comes to mind. You've got your kind of wingers, that young lad on the right there, Dibbling. I've seen him a couple of times as well. It's absolutely fantastic talent. I've got a Dozy here at the moment. I think that sometimes changes with I think the computer likes to put Diaz in, but I don't think it's him that tends to take up that position. But pace, kind of flair, that kind of technical ability to take players on, cause problems. And that's what it's probably all about as well, creating kind of overloads in that opposition half. Once that ball's won back, get it forward, overload the opposition, like you say, hopefully create enough chances and score, which, to be fair, Southampton are really, really good at. So couple up with that then, distribute the centre-backs and distribute the full-backs. Like I said, it's very possession-based, very controlled, play out from the back, defenders bring it forward, play it in the midfield, and like I say, operating that kind of three-man kind of passing system. They do it so well at times until it does go wrong, which is probably a stupid thing to say, but that is the premise. So yeah, it's all about possession, and that just enhances that. Control, possession, play through the midfield, look for those kind of options to kind of say it, then get it out wide and create these kind of counter attacks or through the middle, and you see it all kind of comes together, creating high possession, high passing, accuracy. And then a couple of that, I've just got take short kicks. So while in possession then, I've got the attacking width fairly narrow. I didn't want to go too narrow, but I want to emphasise that kind of playing through the middle style. Like I say, it's not always wide, people's not spread around. It just kind of narrows it enough to give you that kind of high passing accuracy, which Southampton have. Like I say, everyone's compact, everyone's close together, everyone's ready for the ball. And that's what to kind of emulate that, but not so much where I lose too much width, because there is kind of, like say, the option with Kyle Walker-Peters I mentioned to kind of have the ball wide, and you've got your kind of two wingers either side as well, which I don't want to lose that in a too narrow formation. So I'll come out with that, and I've kind of left passing to space off. You can see they're not wasteful with the ball. It's very controlled, very accurate, and like I say, not wasteful. Play out of defence, like I say, goes with a style of kind of control, possession. Passing directness, but shorter. Like I say, I want people close, ready. These passes shorter, simple. Again, not wasteful. High passing accuracy, very effective. And I've gone for slightly higher tempo. Maybe an option to maybe drop this back a bit to a little bit more kind of slow, but I think there is a little bit of pace with Southampton's passing. It's quick, certainly in the midfield, certainly with that kind of three kind of triangles that they create with the passing kind of movement. And then eventually it's quick, beat the press, and hopefully see get out the wings, get the attacking phase, the attacking players, and like I say, just hopefully get forward, overload the opposition area, like I say, create a chance to score goals. Got work ball in the box. I think they're very good at that. Like I say, they're not wasteful. They don't lash shots from outside the box, shoot from anywhere. It's very much kind of drive into the box with the attacking inverted wingers or your kind of wide fullbacks. Like I say, Dibbling's really good at that kind of cutting. He's a winger, right-footed, I think, but he still cuts in, causing problems, leaving kind of space behind them for his wing-backs to come on and drag a defender out of position. Like I say, it's all about attacking those spaces between the centre-backs and the full-backs. Looking for them spaces, driving into them, causing problems, And like I say, when you've got kind of full-backs running behind them, the idea is to create, like I say, panic and confusion, pull defenders out from each position, whether it's a full-back away from the wing, the attacking winger, or attacking winger pulling the centre defender out of position. Maybe it's allow the kind of attacking midfield to come in, or the deep line forward, or the advance forward. So that's the idea. That's behind the tactic. A couple of that I've got run at defence. Like I say, very aggressive in the attacking phase, getting at that defence, attacking those half spaces, and hopefully causing problems. So that's kind of the general passage of play that I see, how I see Southampton. I don't need to stop saying that too much as well. But if you are watching this, do you agree? Is there anything you don't agree with? Is there anything you would change as we go through this? Do you see things a little bit different? Are you a Southampton fan? You certainly have seen a lot more footage than I will have of Southampton this season. But yeah, this is kind of how I see it. So yeah, so going to the player instructions then and roles. Got Ramsdale, sweep the keeper on support. Simply would take more risks. That's just kind of hard-coded already into him. Moving into the kind of right back, Sagaba in this case. I think he played against the Everton game I saw. I've got him on a complete wing back on support. I think, again, there's probably an argument to say maybe more of an inverted wing back maybe on support. I think there was times, or certainly in the past with Russell Martin, that he's probably adopted a couple of inverted wing backs. Maybe against the bigger teams he does this. I'm not sure. But what that allows is I've got an attacking midfielder here, aggressive DM, and a volunteer. And so what this allows is if you have kind of wing backs, you sometimes see them drop in here. This allows you volunteer to kind of get higher up the pitch. Let's push him out there in the minute. So you end up with this kind of maybe it's like a 3 here. You've volunteer up here somewhere. And what you have is like you have a 3 in midfield, protecting the midfield, or even in the kind of transition phase as well, kind of coming into this area. He gets a little bit more aggressive. Again, creates that kind of shorter passing kind of mentality as well. Got the 3 in midfield, 2 centre backs here doing their thing. Again, you can see creating a little bit more passing opportunities in that midfield area, which Russell Martin loves. You can see good options where you kind of Walker Peters coming in here a bit more, Sagawa. Yep, so like I say, but against Leicester, I thought they were a little bit more aggressive than having kind of inverted wing backs, just kind of dropping in and supporting the midfield. Although obviously the options were there to do it, so that's why I chose complete wing backs on each side. Yeah, Sagara seemed a little bit more like less aggressive than Walker Peters. We're still kind of offering Dibbling a little bit of support up here. Didn't see him overlap as much, but certainly kind of operating around these kind of half spaces here in between. So offering that support as kind of Dibbling was kind of cutting in. Certainly kind of being an option up here as well. So probably more of an inverted wing back, but that's quite like the complete wing back role because it does offer that little bit more freedom to kind of cut in and look for kind of options in this kind of in the channels. And I think that's kind of something that Sagawa does very, very well. Really good, and kind of couple that with kind of Walker Peters on the left. Very aggressive, very quick, very kind of technically gifted. Did give the ball away a couple of times as well, which kind of caused them problems, but certainly kind of, like you see, operating around here. Very aggressive around here as well, around the inverted winger. And like I say, that gives the option, when you kind of come around here, it drags kind of full-backs away, certainly from the inverted winger. So if you have kind of, obviously a lot of inverted wingers get doubled up on these days, certainly this 4-2-3-1 system. So what that allows is kind of, obviously, Walker Peters comes around here, someone's got to track back with him, and that gives you kind of the option of, like say, Dozy in this case, to cut in. And that's what I mean, attacking the space between the centre-back and the full-back, attacking these kind of spaces in between. And then it just kind of leaves it open for a kind of, what do you call it? Kind of underlap pass, if you like. I forgot what I was saying about there. Yeah, so obviously creates like those underlaps as well. Kyle Walker Peters, if he has the ball at the byline, can cut back. Whoever's comes running in. Obviously, deep line forward, we sat back there as well. Obviously, making his approach into the box. Yeah, Fernandez here, advanced playmaker, dropping into these channels or running into the box as well. Dibbling as well, cutting in from the other side. Your Volontier coming up, pushing up. So that's what I mean. Like I say, overloads that kind of the opposition defence. And like you say, it creates chances and creates goals. And like I say, Southampton are really, really good at doing it. It's just probably elsewhere that they may have difficulty. So that's the idea with kind of the wing backs. And like I say, sat in that kind of, I don't know, kind of lower block or mid block. Like I say, once kind of you've compressed the kind of the the opposition. They've had to come on here, creating gaps behind them. Like I say, lure them in a little bit more, win that ball back, gaps behind them, exploit it. Like I say, it works really well, really good theory, and at times they are really good at doing this. So that's the wing backs. Defense wise, I say, so Walker Peters simply on tackle harder. If you're following this along just for the instructions, centre backs him. I've got the ball playing defender at this time. It's Kotchap. I think it's normally, I think the captain. I think is it Jack Stevens. I think he's the current captain, I believe. Yeah, so I've got one ball playing defender on here just to kind of help carry that ball if they have the technical ability. Close down more, tackle hard as the PIs. Howard Bellis there, simply close down more, tackle harder. I think that's sometimes kind of Bednarek as well. Sometimes operates that position. So very simple, nothing kind of majorly kind of different there. Just get the ball to them, let them bring it up, bring it in the midfield, pass the kind of volunteer. You got your wing backs on support as well. Say pretty standard stuff. Head into midfield then. I've got a ball winning midfielder in Downs. He's probably a little bit more, let's say, aggressive than a ball winning midfielder on defend. That was against Leicester. See, maybe he's on a bit more on support. Now and again, getting up into these areas, slightly higher up. But definitely very much a ball winner. The same, I saw him make some kind of fantastic challenges. PI wise, nothing special on him, just the kind of hard coded ones. Really good to watch. I quite enjoy watching him, quite impressed with him actually. Seemed like a really good player. You can see only 26 years of age as well. You can see very aggressive with the tackle, closing down, really good as well throughout the match. He seemed canny. So apart from him with the volunteer, in this case it's kind of Ogachukwu. Apologies again for pronunciation. Shoot less often, close down more, and tackle harder as the PIs for the volunteer. I think maybe it might have been a Rebo in here, the game I watched, quite possibly. Yeah, probably a Rebo, I think, in that position at the time, with kind of small bone coming on a bit later. But yeah, very simple, just kind of an aggressive midfielder, someone who can kind of come up a little bit more, say, support the attacks. Maybe again, that outlet, all about that control in that midfield, kind of having them kind of like, say, a three-man passing options like I mentioned before, supported by your complete wing backs. Really inverted wing back, maybe sometimes Sagawa disrupting this midfield, kind of allowing kind of your volunteer to kind of come up a little bit higher. That's what it's all about, really, a little bit more dynamic. So that's kind of the defensive midfield. Moving on to the attack. So probably start with the deep line forward. I think when you operate kind of a lower block or a mid block, so what you probably find is your players probably sat something like this. These guys probably a little bit deeper. And these two guys, your strikers, something like kind of more or less become kind of number 10s. So you look at something like that really realistically in a kind of a lower block or a mid block. Like I say, you're looking at the opposition to kind of come on you a little bit more as they advance the kind of aggressive press. What I tend to find is that Archer was kind of probing, coming out, probing the kind of players with the ball as they came in. Not really aggressive pressing, but just enough to kind of make them maybe pass to the kind of fullbacks. And then the fullbacks have a decision to make, getting pressed by the wingers slightly, the attacking midfielders. And then, like I say, as the ball kind of comes in, the pressure initiates, certainly in kind of the midfielders. The ball's hopefully at this point won back, or when it does. And then what you have is a kind of counter-attacks on. Wingers going forward. Suddenly you find kind of positions like this. Obviously, attack comes back. And there, like I say, players go forward, create the overloads. But that's kind of the initial kind of setup, I think, and kind of transition from defensive transition. So, like I say, you deep line forward, your advanced playmaker, almost come into like number 10s. Like I said, sometimes I saw like Archer was kind of probing out a little bit more, coming out, testing the kind of the strikers with the ball on the midfield. Like I saw the centre backs, if they're coming that deep and the opposition had really dropped deep into the Southampton half. Like I say, just put a little bit of pressure on, force them to kind of play the ball out wide. Like I say, put them on the centre backs. And then, like I say, hopefully, possession's won. You've created kind of gaps in their defence and midfield, ready to exploit by your kind of quicker players. So, moving on then, so that's the kind of the midfield. Like I say, it's all about kind of possession, retention, as we know, good, accurate, high passing. But now it's like the attacking phase. Obviously, what do we do when we get the ball? We've launched our counter-attack. What's Southampton's kind of plan further up the pitch? So what they've got is they've got two kind of great wide men here. In this case, it's a Dozy. I'm not sure if he kind of starts, if he started against Leicester, I can't remember, to be honest. Inverted winger on attack. Yeah, very simple, to shoot less often. Go inside to dribble more, cut inside with the ball, get further forward. Probably a tendency to maybe say come in a bit narrower, just allow that kind of Walker Peters to kind of really get around behind him, create him a bit more space on the flank. But I think when I seen he did actually stay out wide quite a lot. If Walker Peters ever did kind of want to come round, he would move in. But also Walker Peters had the kind of ability and certainly did come into these channels as well. And I think it just creates a bit of variation, a bit of kind of confusion. Couple that up, like I say, with kind of a Dozy cutting in. As like I say, it's really kind of good to watch. But yeah, inverted wing on attack, very straightforward, very simple. Moving into the kind of other side, then dribbling as a winger, again on attack, very aggressive. Has a tendency, from I've seen, to really kind of cut in as well. Although he's naturally right-footed, but really driving into that box, causing problems. Great player. I mean, definitely got a bright future. This kid, 19 years old, obviously bargain on Football Manager as well at that price. I think I don't know what his kind of ability is in this game, but yeah, kind of great player, great to watch, and certainly a talent for the future. So yeah, very simple on this one as well. Cutting sides of the ball, shoot less often, just a Football Manager thing to kind of make us score more goals. So moving into the kind of midfield, and Fernandez, another fantastic player. I've got him to move into channels, close down more and tackle harder. Close down more, probably not, maybe. But bear in mind that that's kind of hopefully based when he's like a back night at number 10. And obviously the opposition's kind of come in. Is that his job, picking the ball back, maybe get it to Archer and create these kind of counter-attacks, etc. But moving to channels, certainly I saw something against Leicester. Dropping into these half spaces, all about attacking the space between the defence and fullback, like we mentioned before. He does that really well. You can see it causing problems, creating an outlet, creating those underlaps, an option for those underlap passes. Like I say, great to watch him, really good player actually as well. Really enjoyed watching him. But very simple, like I say, I've said before, moving to challenge, close down more, tackle harder. And finishing off with Archer, I've got him as a deep line forward. Game probably prefers him as more of an advanced forward, but I think, again, it's all about position. It's all about drawing the opposition kind of onto the team itself. So a deep line forward does that. Sat, like I say, a little bit deeper. It gives kind of options. Again, pulls defenders out of position. Did he track him? Did he keep an eye on kind of the wing backs cutting in, the inverted wingers? Then couple that with your kind of complete wing backs as well, causing problems. Certainly Walker Peters, if you burst through this into these channels. It's all about kind of, like say, deception and dragging players out of position, creating those gaps, getting those kind of right attacking players in. And like I say, overall, it's something that kind of Southampton do, I think, really, really well. If they can fix the other areas, and again, I'll say probably defence maybe, then I think, I don't think they'll have many problems. I don't think, like I say, I like Southampton, like I say, and I like the team, I like the style of play. And like I say, there's something there. You can see that there's a makings of a good team. Are they trying to do too much in the Premier League? I don't know. Like I say, it's not for me to say, I suppose. But like I say, I feel like there's something there, and I feel as though they're not far away from maybe getting something out of these games. But we'll see what happens. So that's the tactical, and that's me kind of player roles, me team kind of mentality. Hope I've kind of put that across how we intended. Like I say, get in the comments, let me know what you think. We'll have a little look now, and I'll show you a little bit of the data hub quickly and the league, how this team done, and hopefully catch up with a few highlights as well and see how it plays or how it looks in game. Like I say, I want to see kind of good short passing, kind of certainly across the midfield, and hopefully nice quick transitions to the wings and some good goals scored. So, quick to show you a few highlights before we kind of go on to the data hub side of things and where we finished in the league. So, as you can see, this was a kind of a 5-1 away game against Crystal Palace, last game of the season. Fairly even in terms of kind of shots. We did give away a lot of them the ball. Well, the opportunity, should we say. Probably counter-attacking opportunities. But I want to just kind of focus on the possession. You can see here, high possession, 63%. High passes completed, 558 compared to their 323. And high pass completion. Exactly what I was aiming for. Exactly what I was trying to achieve. So you can see here, Stevens is kind of probably operating in that kind of DM role. I think by the looks of it, he's probably taken over due to injury maybe. But you can see him here, putting that kind of, as a ball-winning midfielder, putting that kind of pressure on the Crystal Palace player here. Forces Kamada, kind of Richards, forcing them back. A little bit of a press on there as well from Burton Diaz. Forcing back to kind of Turner. Probably a little bit higher than I expect. I expect them to kind of drop back. But we are putting a little bit of a press on. Cornet here, like I say, it must have been kind of heavy injuries. Ball is one back. And like I say, there you go. We're trying to create them little triangles. Nice passing. Everyone's close. Everyone's ready to hand. Worked out really well, this actually. Better than I kind of thought. Slightly sloppy there, a little bit further than I expected, but gets there. But as you can see, plenty of players around. Plenty of options to pass. Very Southampton-like, I think, certainly in that midfield area. Walker-Peters gets the ball. You can see these underlaps available. Comes in, like you see, a tap in for Diaz. But you can see the kind of the idea there, and that's where the high possession comes from, high pass rate. Yeah, like I say, very kind of Southampton-like at the moment. This is kind of what you feel more, dead ball here, small bone. You can see everyone must have been shattered. They're bringing out the subs here. Again, dribbling out on the right hand side there. Nice pass, Cornet. Bit of a soft one that, but well worked goal. So this game, as I say, was against Manchester United. You see, we dropped a little bit of possession, but look at the kind of passes as well against Man United. 90% passes completed. Exactly what I wanted. High as well against Man United, 400. Like you say, you're never going to get the best of every game. Certainly against the kind of better teams, like some Man United, because they are still quite good in football manager, regardless of how they play. Like I say, probably true to form. I think when Southampton did play Man United, they were the better team for a good part of it, and then unfortunately kind of, missed that penalty. Heads went a little bit, I think. And then the result was a kind of a Man United win. Got to take your chances against teams like this, regardless of how poorly they're playing. And I think Southampton's kind of learning that. I say learn that they've been in the Premier League before, but really finding out again that, how tough that a league that is. So another one here then, like I say, a proper barn burner, this one, 4-3. But again, you can see we dominated possession, 61%. Pass completion, 87%. Again, a high number of passes, kind of aim for as well. Not sure whether they actually missed a penalty as well, so I'm not sure where we're giving these opportunities away. Certainly probably from like counter-attacking positions, maybe a little bit aggressive, maybe dropping kind of a cigar back or inverted wing back maybe, give you that kind of defensive stability in midfield. Certainly kind of areas to be tweaked, to be watched a little bit more. But bear in mind as well, the way I do these tactics, I don't do training schedules and I don't kind of obviously look at fatigue and things like that. So we're probably giving away a little bit in mismanagement, just purely because it's the assistant manager kind of taking control. But like I say, if you ever want to take this tactic on, you've got a bit more control, you monitor things a little bit better, tweak it how you like, maybe look for that kind of more defensive stability if it is lacking, although I don't think we conceded a great amount of goals in the league. But that's all I was aiming for, really. Good possession, high pass rate and high passing accuracy. Like I say, probably have a look at the defensive frailties in this one here. Game, pretty much from a set piece. Shouldn't really be vulnerable, I don't think, from the centre-backs we've got. Diaz there all over the pitch. Downs, slots at home. Like I say, I mean, I had my idea in mind of how I want the team set up, but I think if you keep kind of players for that tactic, then I think the assistant manager doesn't change it very often, so they end up extremely fatigued. You don't really get a true reflection of what the tactic could do. So I tend to just let the assistant manager pick whatever team he wants, focusing mainly on positions and players, rather than players. So you might find kind of Kyle Walker-Peters not in the position I wanted him, although he is here, doing exactly what I like to see. Cutting inside. But like, so hopefully you've seen enough to show you kind of where I was aiming for with the tactic. I think I've got it somewhere near. Not perfect, probably, but certainly kind of an option for someone to take this on. And if you're a Southampton fan, you want to see this tactic, maybe emulate this style, build it over a couple of seasons, see if you can really make it a success. Because I don't think it's very far away in real life, to be honest with you. I know it looks kind of abysmal and Southampton fans may disagree with me, but I think there's just something there. I think it's a great style, it's great to watch. There's just something maybe lacking a little bit, and I don't know what it is. Like I say, I'm not a Southampton fan. I'm not probably at liberty to say either. So that's just a quick insight into the match. We'll quickly look at competitions. I'm a bit wary of time, but looking at that, we finished third. Didn't do very well in the FA Cup. Well, semi-final, sorry. That's not too bad, to be fair. No bad cup run. And the quarters by Manchester United. So, not too bad at all. Quite happy with that. Quickly looking at the stages. Played 38, won 24, drew 10, lost 4. So, high draw-on rate. Could maybe convert some of them to wins. Scored 80 goals. Conceded 48. A little bit on the high side, maybe, but not bad. Not bad for us, I don't think, considering we were due to finish 19th. Goal difference of 32 on 82 points. Really happy with that. Quickly popping up the data hub then. I'll show you a couple of little things just for kind of, so you can have a look at the some kind of stats. Pass map then, pretty much where I expected it. Very centrally orientated on that midfield, with obviously the options to kind of play on the wings as well, with the kind of wing backs. Certainly with kind of Kyle Walker-Peters kind of taking the brunt of them there as well. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Maybe distribute the wing backs off slightly so you have a little bit more of a focus centrally, which I think is a Russell Martin way. But I'm happy with that. Defence wise, then conceded just over a goal a game, 10 clean sheets. Tackles could be slightly higher maybe, but possession one really happy with. That's kind of well above the average. Yeah. Tackles 172%. Again, could maybe have that a bit higher. Possession gained as I expect, playing a kind of low mid-block style, or mid-block in this case. Yeah, winning the ball back in the areas that I expect. Hopefully that's kind of probably more like the centre midfield area anyway, which is what we want and probably reflects how Russell Martin plays. Possession lost, again, just kind of inside their half, the opposition half. Probably fairly standard if they're kind of counter-attack on ball doesn't work out really. That's probably where we're going to lose it more often than not. But a good high percentage kind of high up in their box as well. Obviously forcing them to defend, getting those kind of attacking players in, those attacking phases, and like you say, causing problems. Passes attempted then, yeah, exactly where I wanted from that midfield area. Probably the right area as well. Hopefully winning that ball back and releasing them counter-attacks. So possession, we are slotted in kind of infrequently wins ball. Oh no, sorry, we're not. We're kind of in the infrequently wins ball. Yeah, sorry. Reliable in possession. Yeah, perfect. We'd like it a little bit more in the green. Having a better press, a better kind of... But is that Southampton? Is that probably a true reflection? Are we not winning the ball often enough? Certainly in the second half when, you know, you've taken the lead, done all the hard work. Are they maybe gassing out a little bit or losing concentration? Like I say, you tell me. Passing wise then, we are in the section of lots of passes and accurate passing as well. Exactly what Southampton Russell Martin tactic aims for, should we say. Whether you choose that or not, like I say, I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys. Passing dynamics. We are kind of hovering in the fewer passes allowed against, lots of passes completed. Again, exactly what I want to kind of create. Exactly the right style. Pitch tilt. So we are hovering in fewer passes against in the final third and lots of passes for in the final third. So good defensively, opposition wise, and creating a lot ourselves. Attacking efficiency there, and we are hovering on the kind of aggressive shooting, clinical shooting area. Really good actually, yeah, as well, taking our chances, which to be fair, like I say, Southampton do score goals. I think it's a known fact that they will cause you problems at that kind of against your defence, and will, more often than not, like I say, score. It's just maybe other areas that maybe need work. So that's it, say, for me today. That's my Russell Martin tactic. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I say, if you don't agree, or if you do agree, get in the comments. Let's get a kind of bit of a community kind of going there. I've got a few more on the pipeline. I think Laurent Blanc was mentioned. I'm looking at kind of Abel Ferreira, Palmeiras. Again, excuse my pronunciation, it's not the best, but that's what I'm aiming for in the coming days, coming weeks. I've already started kind of Abel Ferreira. I'll drop on a Laurent Blanc shortly anyway. So please, like I say, drop a like, subscribe. I know I've probably mentioned this before. I probably don't see it often enough, but channel's growing bit by bit. But that's it from me now. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.